2 months. It's been 2 months. It's been
Has it
too
been
long.
that long? Oh, it's
Yeah.
been very long. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lots to
You
talk
haven't
about.
changed a bit.
All I have to do is shave my head and it's fine. So, so let's talk about stuff, Mississauga stuff, if that's okay. Okay, I'm going to start with Ron Starr. Okay, in
Sure.
regard to the investigation, the
Yep.
commissioner said last week there are new allegations, right? Are these new allegations against Ron Starr, or what is that
So,
about?
so I'm not aware. So we had hoped the integrity commissioner would complete his report for April 20th and table it that day. Apparently, a day or two before that, Councillor Starr's attorneys dropped off new information. I guess he had described it as witness statements and new allegations, but that was not very clear. And as you could tell from the council meeting, the integrity commissioner trying to preserve not prejudice
Yeah,
any outcoming, was not very forthright with the information, and I guess he will use that in his final assessment. So we were quite disappointed. We wanted a very quick resolution. I think it leaves a lot hanging. I know the residents of Ward 2 are very upset, and they've been calling and emailing, asking what the issues are, what the problem is for resolution. But, let's be honest, the Integrity Commissioner is an outside entity. He doesn't work for the city. He
okay.
doesn't, we can't, I can't, and council can't, tell him what to do or to report back. And, we asked him to undertake this investigation after clarifying that, yes, you could, after he had told Councillor Rass that no, he couldn't. So we clarified that in our terms of reference and in our code. And so he did go back and went to go back and do the investigation. And he told us it would be a couple of weeks, not months. So we were very hopeful by April 20th we would see a resolution. But and Councillor Starr initially had agreed to take a leave of absence voluntarily because excuse me, that we can't impose a penalty on him. He is
Yeah,
responsible solely to the residents of Ward 2. I can't impose, as mayor say, or council cannot. We are unable to move any motion that says, you must resign by any way. That we can't do that to a council member. They are solely accountable to the people they represent. And that's under the Municipal Act, right? And so he voluntarily agreed, but I guess more recently he's decided that he would return and has returned to council meetings, both at the city and the region. And we had hoped by now there would be a resolution to the issue because, of course, it leaves doubt. It leaves
yeah,
doubt for him and for Councillor Rass. And we just want clarity and we want the matter resolved. We know the residents do as well. I do hear from them. And I tell them, it's very unsatisfactory to say it's out of my hands, but it truly is under the Municipal Act. It's gone to the Integrity Commissioner. We have to wait for his conclusion and for the report to be returned back. And that said, people have to understand that he in no way can force Councillor Starr to resign either. If
yeah.
he should find that there was evidence, because let's be honest, it's innocent till proven guilty. If there is evidence and he finds there was wrongdoing, a fine or a penalty can be imposed, but no councillor can be removed from public office.
Okay. And then
And I think it's very important for people to understand that is the case. There is a private members bill at Queen's Park to change that because largely that was a reaction to some bad behavior in the city of Ottawa. There were allegations of sexual harassment against a staff member by a councillor, and they were found with 5 incidents to be at fault, and they were losing, I think it's up to 90 days pay, so 3 months, times 5 incidents, 450 days salary. But
wow.
that's the most severe penalty that can be imposed, let's be
Okay.
honest. But it's up to the residents to decide in October, who will they support and who they won't support. It's the councillor is only accountable to the people that elected them. And we don't have any authority. The Integrity Commissioner does not. There is not a Human Resources Department that decides. This is all in the hands of the Municipal Act.
Now, have you talked to the Integrity Commissioner in regards to when this report's going to come out?
So, we're not permitted to interfere. And
Okay.
as you could say, as you could see, the integrity commissioner seemed to me a little uncomfortable with coming forward to council and giving us any other information. He doesn't want to prejudice the outcome in any way, and that's fair. So we just asked for it to come as soon as possible because it's unfair to the residents, unfair to Councillor Starr, unfair to Councillor Rass. So there needs to be a conclusion, and you could see he was uncomfortable and said he would get it as soon as he possibly could. So there is a time frame. Because there is a nomination period that has to be respected. We thought it was May 2nd, but the nomination period starts on May 2nd, ends August 19th. It would have to come in that time frame, and I'm very hopeful it will be much before the August 19th deadline. So, I want this to come to a conclusion as much as everyone else. Everyone, I think Councillor Rass, and former Councillor Rass, I should say, would like resolution.
Awesome. Let's talk about Ukraine. Have you talked to St. Mary's Ukrainian Church
Absolutely.
in regards to how many kind of potential refugees might be coming to Mississauga?
Yeah, I've obviously had a number of calls, a number of meetings. I did go to the church, not for Easter yesterday, but a couple of weeks ago. We have had a flag raising with leaders of the Ukrainian community, the Ukrainian Congress, etc. We had roundtable discussion with Ivan Franco homes and leaders of the Ukrainian community. We got everybody on one call to talk about it. Father Panku and I from St. Mary's Church have discussed it. The leadership team even appealed to me to assist with their having a booth, a kiosk at Pearson Airport. So when the refugees do arrive, they're greeted properly by people who speak their language and can assist them, because the community very much wants to help them with jobs and help them with housing. And so far, they've been able to assist them, and they've really integrated them within the community. But I know, because Mississaugans are so compassionate, and many of them are empty nesters and have extra space in their homes. Many have offered living accommodations, temporarily until they get on their feet or till there's a resolution to this brazen attack on their sovereignty. So yes, I don't know exact numbers. It could be 20,000, it could be fewer, it could be more. I'm hearing the number 20, but we don't know for sure. But certainly there will be, and continues to be. And let me also sing the praises of a group that's operating out of Sheridan Mall. I've forgotten if my staff can text me their name. I went to assist them one day. They're operating out of the Sheridan Mall, and they're packing up medical equipment and medical devices and pharmaceutical products and shipping them and getting, free space on cargo planes and shipping them off to the Polish border and into the Ukraine. So staff could let me know, but they're there every day at the Sheridan Mall. Of course, we all know where that is, just north of QEW on Erin Mills Parkway. They have a unit that the landlord gave them, I think, for $1, and they are very busy packaging up any blankets, pharmaceutical products, etc. They've got donations from pharmaceutical companies, biotech companies. So I just want to be thankful to all of our companies who are being so generous, and anyone who really wants to contribute. This is a good way to do it. There are many fundraisers that are planned. Oh, here they come. They're telling me now, Ukrainian medical support.
Okay. I think we did
medical support.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, and I joined them, and we took a photo up together, not on the runway. We weren't allowed to go on the runway, but we could see the plane in the distance. That one happened to be KLM. It was loaded with all the cargo that they had packed up, and so proud of the work that they are doing. And many residents are coming out to lend a hand. So I've heard about a number of very generous offers to host fundraisers. I will say we will reach out to my office as the easiest way, mayor@mississauga.ca, or the Ukrainian Canadian Congress Toronto office, if you want to offer, housing or employment to some of these refugees who we know are very hardworking and very dedicated.
Awesome. We're totally switching gears from summer events in Mississauga. Are
I
we
have
going
good
to
news.
see them?
I knew you were going to ask me. I knew you were going to ask me. So for sure, I followed up with staff, and there will be Canada Day.
Nice.
We're looking at all the events, and there may even be fireworks,
Okay, okay.
and there may be some entertainment. So that's great news. The very first event will be on May 28th, which will be Polish Heritage Day. So you can bet
Okay.
I'll be there. Bet I'll be there. It's my heritage, of course. Everybody knows that. And then there will be festivals throughout the summer as well. The one I know that isn't returning, but it doesn't have anything to do with COVID. They're just retiring, and that is the Waterfront Festival, and that's a shame. Let me give a shout out to Pat Anderson and her team for many, many years of dedicated service on producing and running, operating the Waterfront Festival. Thank you, Pat, and your gang, Pat and Wayne Anderson. So that one won't be
Sorry,
returning, but many of the others will. Pardon?
Mayor Crombie, Waterfront Festival. Is there anything that's going to replace it?
So not that I'm aware of just yet,
Okay.
but there's lots of demand to host festivals. Perhaps one of the groups that was, couldn't find space at Celebration Square, maybe they'll move their event to Port Credit, to Memorial Park. Certainly, I know that the Southside Shuffle is always the week after Labor Day, so they'll be operating. Busker Fest as well. Carasaga, of course, is always the third weekend of May, so be sure to buy your pass to go to Carasaga. That's very exciting news. And we will announce a lineup of the festivals in the coming weeks, but there will be festivals.
Okay, so that means Japan Festival.
This is what I'm very hopeful.
I know it's coming back. It's coming back. It's coming back.
Okay, so yeah, so if you know better than I,
Yeah.
yes.
You know that
okay,
one.
so
Movie nights?
Festival.
Movie nights?
You always ask. Probably. You know what? I'll raise it as soon as I hear the schedule, as soon as I hear the news.
What's amazing is that after 2 years, 2 years and 2 months of interviewing you, Mayor Crombie, this is the first time we had an interview that we didn't bring up COVID.
Yes, but if I could just put in.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And I was gonna say if you want to bring something up, so.
Well, so even though it seems to have plateaued, this is the Omicron B variant. It's still very transmissible. As you know, I think everyone saw that I had the good fortune to be invited to a Raptors game, but it seemed onerous to me to be out with so many people. I wore my mask the whole time, and I encourage people to think about that as well. If you're not comfortable, please wear your mask. Hospitalization rates are up. We do have 102 patients at Trillium Health that have COVID. Either they're being treated for something else and have COVID. 43 primarily for COVID. 43 is a big number again, right? And 7 in the ICU. So we haven't talked about this in a long time, but people are being hospitalized. So either they haven't got their booster or they're not vaccinated. I don't know, but please be sure to get your booster. My second booster, I will be eligible as well as my mother, Veronica. I hope you're listening, Mom. She always watches my programs. Mom, June, we're going to get our second booster. So I think it's very important to keep up to date because these variants change. And we know that the effectiveness of the vaccine wanes, right? So it's very important to be up to date with the vaccines. It's critical. But you're right. It does feel like life is getting back to normal, particularly with the festivals this summer, and it's very exciting news. But I encourage people, if you don't feel comfortable, wear your mask. And I've been out in the community, and I will say that there are still many, many people wearing a mask, and I'm very proud of them to make that decision, to make that choice. There is a choice you can make, and if you don't feel comfortable, for goodness sakes, wear it. And there is transmission in the community, so it is the safe thing to do.
Sure. Quebec still has masks. So.
Well, yes, and we know that the province extended a masking requirement in long-term care homes and on public transit till June 11th. So even the province agrees in public healthcare settings, public transit, long-term care, retirement shelters, etc. I think we still have to have them, at least in Canada, in taxis and Ubers as well. In Canada, you're still wearing them on flights, domestic flat travel. I know that in the US, you don't have to, but I also know that that is being challenged. So we'll see what happens there.
And Mayor Crombie, I was jealous. You went to a really good game. It was just that close.
Oh, I know, but they were missing free throws and shots they should have gotten. And I want to thank the two Saga boys that were flanking me. Big shout out to Sam McDaddy and superfan Nav Badia, who's always present. They're both always present, frankly. And thank you for the invite, guys. That was a real treat. Thank you.
That's awesome. Well, Mayor Crombie, thank you so much. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much. Hope to see you again.
Take care. Bye.